Hello, this is Nobody No One, and today we're going to talk about a very interesting fable that seems to get more mysterious the more you learn about it. And the fable is called Rumpelstiltskin. It's a long word, very hard. Rumpelstiltskin. I want to say that correct. I can say it wrong later on, but this fable, I learned about it, I guess in kindergarten and then first grade and of course third grade. But it's always been around me. And it wasn't until I started seeing some of these TikTokers talk about this fable that I started learning how weird this fable is. So this is going to be the introduction and what I call part one, which is going to talk about the miller and the king. And amazing or not, there's a lot of information that doesn't make sense. First of all, you have to understand that the story is not about love or about marriage. It is just a story about words and assumptions. There is no happy lesson, nor is there reason to tell the story. And as we go on investigating, you're going to learn this really fast. Okay? So, in the beginning, this story starts off like any other. A king meets a miller, which the odds of that happening in that time were very, very low. Because millers were people who milled grain and made it into flour, and they were not well liked. In order to understand this, is like a mechanic in today's society. Mechanics are good people, but sometimes they do wrong things and people don't like them all that much. So, this mysterious fable, you start wondering and you get so many questions. So, the first part about this is the king meeting the miller. The miller is poor. A king would never go to a miller, never meet a miller. But yet in this story, a king comes to a miller. Which asks the question, why was the king and the miller in the same place? And if that's not even weirder, the king talks to him. And the miller then gives him what is called the most interesting thing that you could ever tell a king. He says that his daughter can make straw into gold. Where does that come up from? There's no explanation. There's no that the king put him in a corner, but he brings it up. He makes the king feel like he has something special, something unique. So the king tells him. He says, if your daughter can make straw into gold, he says, I want to see this. But here's the thing, if she doesn't do it, I will kill her. Now this is big on a king to say that he will kill a woman for what he just said. But he doesn't back down. The miller doesn't back down. The very next day he sends her to the king. Now in some parts of the story, it does say that the daughter, or we assume it's the daughter, cries, but she still accepts the concept. Now, why is that? Why is it that the daughter still went to the king instead of just admitting that he was lying. So this is part one, the introduction, and starting the questions of the fable. This is Nobody No One. I hope you enjoy this, and stay with me for part two because it even gets weirder.